Happy Thursday to you. I have no idea why you decided to do that right then.
Because it's important.
I guess.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. So we are live from lovely sunny Mexico, and I don't believe we had a ton of rain last night.
It didn't rain at all last night.
Yeah, it was crazy. So last night we get to bed, air conditioning's not working. Usually these things last for years and years and years, but this one, for whatever reason, just decided that last night
It didn't want to help us anymore.
it was done. So we opened the window, opened the doors, and it was weird because we were fine.
It was actually really pleasant last night. Very nice.
How weird is that? And no rain or anything. So yeah, good morning, Leslie, to you. Very strange night. Cecilia's here today.
Cecilia or Sarah?
Cecilia. And good morning, Pat. So yeah, Cecilia had dengue. I've had dengue. I would not wish that on anybody in the world. I would take COVID over dengue. That's how bad dengue is. And
I would say I'll take typhoid over COVID because I wasn't as sick with typhoid as I was with COVID.
Are you kidding me? You laid in bed for 2 weeks and you did not move. We had to drag your ass to the hospital. So I think she's forgetting. I think she's forgetting.
I didn't go to the hospital.
No. But we took you to go to the doctor.
Well, I was definitely sick, but I thought I was sicker with this.
No. Christie, she doesn't get sick very often. And whenever she gets sick, that's the sickest she's ever been. Now, I think it was the second sickest you've ever been, because that typhoid was pretty bad on you.
Well, I also had my appendix like this close to bursting, too, when Zach was just a baby.
Plus, you had that night of tequila.
Well, I wasn't close to dying then.
I was afraid you were going to.
John was worried. I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, that was terrifying for me.
That was
it was
in my early days of learning tequila.
Yeah.
I think I've mastered it.
So when we lived near the water in those days.
So Glenda is saying good morning from lovely sunny Dallas. I can't wait to experience it. It's coming up.
Well, yesterday was your birthday, and that place you were working, what was the deal with that? So
I think it was a quote working.
But what is that? Is that like when you say my office is everywhere, but we're actually at a restaurant?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Cheryl, good morning. Jeff, good morning.
Hello, Cheryl and Jeff.
Oh, I don't have mine up. Hold on. Give me a second here. I was leaving a very important message that John interrupted, which I haven't sent yet. So
it's because she did it 3 seconds before we went live.
It's because that's when I remembered. And it was very important.
So important she didn't finish it. So what can we tell these fine folks? Well, today we are looking at a house. It's going to be in the 600,000 to 800,000 range.
Good morning, Jolene.
Hello, Jolene.
And Debbie and Julie. Good morning, ladies.
The seller, though, is convinced the house is $1 million. It's not. There is a house that's just at the end of that street that has 3 floors, 3 separate rentals. It has an elevator, and it's in the 650 range, if it's still available.
Jim is saying that we sound like ourselves today.
Hello. Well, thank you, Jim.
Glenda says she volunteers at the Dallas how is that word pronounced? Arboretum?
Arboretum and botanical gardens.
Botanical gardens.
It's tree and gardens.
Trees and gardens, yeah.
It's an arbor place. So, yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so this lady...
That's cool.
She believes that her house is worth $1 million. When we went there, it's not worth $1 million. There is so much that has to be done.
There's lots needs to be finished.
And it's just basic construction. It is just basic. I mean, it would be an elevated Mexico construction, but not much. So it's nothing.
Yeah, they went cheap on things like kitchen, which don't
never
do that,
go cheap
not
on
when you
your
want
kitchen
that kind of money for your house
or your bathrooms. Yeah. Never. Ever
and
go
they
cheap.
Did. There's some sort of leak in the heavens calling.
Maybe. Yeah. So Dad, please don't do that. It is a very strange world.
I hate it when the sellers think their house is the bestest of everyone's. And so we haven't actually spoken to her. Okay. So she is another agent that we've brought on. It is her or it is his contact. So we haven't actually had the chance to explain to her how things work in the real world.
But also, this company is the company that screwed clients and they had to fold. And which was so funny because that lady called me up like months ago. She says, "Do you know this guy?" I did not know. She said, "Just type his name in Google." I did immediately find out he is barred from selling real estate in Canada. So he comes to Mexico thinking, hey, I get to sell here.
So he's in trouble here, although he wasn't ampy, so we really have no teeth with that one. He moved money through the States illegally, so he's wanted in the States. So he's in hiding.
But they had a few listings, and obviously they sold, like they had them listed for so much. They didn't sell much. Plus their fees were ridiculous. So, but yeah, they guaranteed sold, baby. That's what they chose. What a weird name. But yeah, so we took on the agents because the agents really had nothing to do with this.
And she says, I hate it more when the listing realtor feeds the lie. There's a lot of, in our area especially, there's a lot of uneducated realtors. And they just think that, well, their client knows what they spent. They know what they want. So that's what we'll ask for. They don't realize that the rest of the world won't necessarily pay that kind of money. So
we can't make a property worth more than what the market will take. And it's funny that there are sellers, like my mom has been selling real estate since I was 16 or 17, and she won't sell her own places. And the smart agents won't because they even know that they believe their own lies.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what they are. Leslie says, sounds like the doc who did my mom's hip replacement years ago screwed people up and ran till the statute of limitations ran out.
Wow.
Unfortunately, in Canada, too, with the healthcare system there, you have to use who they say. It is so dumb. At least in Mexico, you can go and you can do like a Yelp review on the doctors and find out what they're really getting as far as the customer service or the success rates. So you can choose who you want to use here and just you pay for it, yes, but it's a heck of a lot better than having to keep doing it up there. My stepmom, I think, had 5 knee surgeries now.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, same nut job that keeps doing it is just screwing it up. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Just like lawyers, they won't represent themselves, or at least they shouldn't. Yeah. Ted Bundy talked a lot of women into his VW, just like some crooked realtors. Yeah, that's funny, Larry.
I do like that. That's good. Yeah.
We don't have a VW.
And it is.
We have a Lincoln.
It is funny for me because Canadians are so funny. I mean, Canadians, they want to work with Canadians. And I'll remind them, you do know that there are Canadian serial killers, right? There are bad Canadians out there. And unfortunately, there's a lot down here. So yeah,
Canadians are just bad people.
Bad real estate agents. Because the problem is because most of them are not educated. I mean, I came down. I got licensed in Canada because I knew you didn't need a license down here. So I figured if I come down with some kind of preparation, what most buyers would know that their agents know, that would be a good thing. And it was actually. But people down here, they don't work with what has sold and what has expired. They just work with what's for sale. And in this market, unfortunately, it's a terrible time because people keep selling and selling and selling and selling, and they're basing it on what's for sale, not what has sold. And the prices, though, just keep eking up very rapidly. So yeah, it's a crazy world that we live in, and it's crazy agents. I had a lady who last week...
Glenda says, please don't tell me you have a lot of Canadian serial killers and Bucerias. None that we know of. But it's not been proven.
I've murdered me some Captain Crunch, though. Yeah. What was I going to say now?
I don't know. Yesterday we went out to Punta de Mita with some friends that are visiting. Our friend and 2 of his boys. His wife wasn't there, which was very unfortunate because I need some girl time. But
just hanging with me is not good enough for her.
But anyways, it was lovely. But I was just pooped.
You were pooped. It is weird that you're still just that you're still in the 70s. You haven't hit 80%. You're still in the 70s.
I would think I'm closer to 80
you
than
are?
70.
But then why are you still pooped?
Well,
what is it?
It looks like something gray. Not saying what it was, just a little gray piece of, short.
Yesterday she says to me, "Yeah, just so you know, I need to pull some hairs out of your ears." What the hell would you do that for?
About that. You got hairy ears. It's disgusting.
But I have shaver things. Why not use that instead of tweezers and hurt me?
That's no fun.
Yeah. So,
but Glenda, to answer your question, there's no serial killers here
that we know of. I mean, probably 1 out of 3 Canadians at the most are going to be serial killers, which is why they leave, I believe.
You know what? I don't think that's a good rumor to spread around.
It isn't. And it was a joke because I don't want people saying, John said, oh my God.
And now his wife needs the vaccine.
Yeah. So we do have to go in and get tested so we can fly up to Dallas.
Yeah, we got to get that done. I do not want this screwed up because I'm going to Dallas come hell or high water.
Are there rats or mice or other vermin that you need traps for there? Sadly, yes. Mm-hmm. We have it doesn't get cold here. So nothing dies. So every year, 2 years, 3 years, you do need to take some
parasite
pills.
Some people do it every 6 months.
Yeah, you do need to do that because people get that. Rats and mice.
That's the second time Unknown has called today.
Unknown calls me, so bye-bye, Unknown.
But yeah, we definitely have rats and mice and other vermin. I'm trying to think of what else we could have. Possums. Geckos aren't vermin, though. They're helpful.
They do. They eat the bugs.
And they don't do damage. They just poop. So they don't hurt anything. They don't chew on cables or stuff like rats and mice do.
Geckos are funny because they put their poop in the strangest places. They're like, I'm going to just put some here. I'm going to put some here. And it's strange. I don't think
they necessarily plan their poops.
I think they do.
Okay. Jolene asked me if I saw the mudslide video. Yes, it's been plastered on Facebook. There was in Vallarta, South Vallarta in the hill, a big, huge piece right off the water.
Did anybody get killed?
I don't think there was anybody. I don't think there was anything in there. I think it was just mud, but someone's house is pretty precarious on top of that mud.
Yeah.
And they are right above the ocean. Like you pan down and there's the water. So I love geckos.
Me too.
I'm not going to say I love geckos. There was one time, so we lived in this house years ago and we lived there for a long time. And, really close to the water, and we had a big van and we needed to unload stuff to bring to the backyard. So we backed the van in, which it was really super narrow. So for the driver, it was open on that one side. So it was easy for the driver to get out. Passenger, not so easy. So I get out and I'm kind of up between the wall and the van and I'm trying to inch down so I can shut the door, and a gecko right down my shirt. I just about peed myself right then and there.
One time I had the flu at the same house, and I was at home in bed freezing because I had a fever, etc. I was just laying in bed, and all of a sudden I was sleeping, and then I wasn't. Then I was up on the bed, even though I was exhausted, physically exhausted and drained. A gecko had fallen through the fan, and the tail separated. And when the tail separates, it just starts flopping around. Yeah. And it landed on me, and it was flopping around, and I had no idea what it was, but I was...
And we were still pretty new to Mexico at that point, right? So those kinds of things still bothered us. So,
well, I think what I want to do someday is maybe and I don't know why I haven't yet, but write a book or something about our collections of experiences in Mexico. But one time I had
a video blog about it, not a book. You'll never get down to writing it. So.
We've been here so long. Yeah. It's just crazy.
We have lots of little stories, little fun stories, none really scary. Glenda said that the only scary thing she ever encountered in Bucerias was a scorpion. And
They're
that
pretty
would
scary.
those can be, because when you first look at them, you kind of freeze. There was one right beside my bed in this house here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've seen 2 or 3 here.
Yeah,
But it's
we
just
really haven't experienced much in the way of
no, I think
scorpions.
we're probably
Thankfully,
maybe 6 to 7.
you should do an audiobouk easier. Yeah, that's from Angela. Yeah,
So
I agree.
what I had done was I'd woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, laying on my bed, look out on the wall, and there's this freaking giant spider on the wall. And I thought to myself, my God, when we are sleeping, there's another world that goes on. So what I imagined is under the bed, you spray off or raid or whatever, something that kills things, and all of a sudden you hear a boom, 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 boom.
It's all these spiders
4
falling.
things falling on the ground. You don't see what they are, but you're terrified.
So Donna's asking if we get random things like donkeys or other people's pets come in your yard. I used to live in a bedroom community outside Lethbridge, and we had a random alpaca and neighbors' horses. Our yard is fully fenced. We have just like the chain link fence all surrounding our yard, and with gates. So ours, it's never open unless we're doing something in the yard and we need to have it open. I think we get chickens every once in a while. The baby chickens can get in sometimes. The mamas can't. So you hear all this chirp, 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 because the chickens can't find, the little chickies can't find their mommy, can't get to them. And then we've had cats, of course, come in the yard. But other than that, I don't think, unless a gate is left open, we don't really get much in the way because we have gates. When we first moved in this house, though, all we had for a front door was the gates, like the metal gates. And so every once in a while we'd get up and we would see these footprints on our furniture.
Whatever.
So
cats,
dogs or little dogs or cats, ones that could fit in, would come in the night. And
when we were sleeping, they were coming into our home.
Yeah, until we got the big wooden door.
No, we had bought a fridge. And
that's right. We used the box for the fridge for like a month until our door was ready, because that guy was still mad at him.
Yeah.
Glenda said, and a water rat. Not sure what they are called. Similar to Texas possums. The rat and the scorpion were both at a house she rented. Never had anything but geckos in a condo. Yeah, generally you're not going to get much more than geckos in a condo. But
we have learned, though, that if geckos disappear from your property, you probably have mice or rats. Yes. So I think that they eat them, and then the geckos are just gone. So you really want to see a lot of geckos at
you want to make sure,
on the roof, etc.
Especially in a house.
Yeah, because the geckos do eat the bugs, and they're friendly, and they make a cute little kissing noise at nighttime, and it just sounds so sweet. Like they love us.
They do.
They do.
They're blowing kisses to us all night long,
and then they put little pieces of poop everywhere. So it's their gift.
Not random,
back to
apparently. It's planned.
It is planned.
They plan their poops.
I think geckos are trained. They really are.
A water rat. I don't know what that would be called. It could have been just a possum. Possums are nasty. There's people, we were talking about this yesterday because we were talking about different kinds of animals that are around. And, I know people that have had possums. They've taken in a baby possum and raised it. Our experience with possums have not been pleasant. When we had chickens, the possums would eat their heads.
Yeah, or one side of a face.
They would steal the eggs.
Yeah, they wouldn't eat the rest.
And we had a nest of baby possums, and Bailey was pregnant. And
the night she had the babies, she killed a big mama.
Went bonkers on these, obviously, because she was ready to have the baby and she didn't want a threat in her yard. We did have a whole litter of babies when our kids were little.
Yeah, the possums.
We had a whole litter. That was the most terrifying thing. So we're down at the beach with friends. I don't think we've
told them this story, so let's tell you a story here.
So our dog had puppies. Okay, it wasn't planned, but it happened. So we had this litter of 4 or 5, I think, puppies. And so they were, we were down at the beach, and they were outside in our backyard because it was a beautiful night and the mama needed to be able to get out and stuff. So they were sitting in their box in the backyard. And we sent the kids up to go, like we were half a block from the water, right?
But Shay was the last one to leave.
Shay was the last one to leave.
She was with us.
Yeah, they were all our kids were with us and our friends' kids. So the friends' kids went to the hotel that they were staying at right there on the beach, and our kids went back to the house. Well, Shay, I don't know what she was doing, saying goodnight. She was just the last one. All of a sudden, we hear her screaming, "They're dead! They're dead! Everybody's dead! And there's blood! They're all dead! There's blood everywhere." So I've never moved so fast, I'm sure, in my life. We get back to the house, and Kenzie's with the puppies, and they're dead. They're all dead.
So it was the puppies that were dead.
Not our kids.
Not our kids, we didn't know that she just yelled, "They're dead, they're dead, they're all dead."
Everything was, they're all dead. That's all we knew.
There's blood everywhere.
Were all dead, and there was blood everywhere.
It was very scary.
So we took one of the bodies of the puppies to the vet to make sure that it wasn't one of our other dogs. And he's like, "Oh, no, that's a possum for sure. Way too sharp, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah,
blah.
So it just had a row of sharp teeth, and it actually killed all the puppies.
Yeah, it killed each of the puppies. So Bailey, we didn't have Bailey at that time. We had cappuccino and cafe and latte. Yeah. And anyways, so our dogs from that point on, anything came in our yard, it was
we had
dead
that
spell.
Wiener dog that taught our dogs to pack. And after that.
But the dogs still wouldn't let anything in the yard. Packing was one thing.
Latte was interesting because one night Christie's outside in the backyard and a possum came near Christie. And Latte went ballistic.
Yeah. And she threw herself in front of this possum, which was way bigger than her.
Tiny. And she just went crazy on this possum. Possum ran away, but at that moment, that dog earned its keep because that dog was willing to risk its life for Christie. Yeah. Like, wow.
Because it was a pretty big possum.
Yeah.
So anyways, and then this story with Bailey, the night she was going to deliver her puppies, and she finds this nest of possum that she found the nest of the possum babies, and she wouldn't stop. She was jumping at them until we had to kill them because she just was going nuts. And they were these little nasty, gross little things, and they'd hiss, and it was horrifying. It was dark. It was just horrible. Horrible.
The Mexicans eat the possums also. They're supposed to taste good. I've never had one.
They look like rats.
I don't know.
Gross tails.
I think they taste good.
Ugly faces. And
You don't like much that's alive. If it's not cute, you don't like it. We watched The Batman of Mexico yesterday. Anymore. That was very intriguing because this guy, it was a PBS show from not 84. It's like 2014 or 15. And this guy, he has lived his whole life taking care of the bats in Mexico. And it's fascinating. He actually
only eat domesticated meat. Amen, sister.
He actually has brought some that were risking extinction back from that.
He took the tequila bats off the endangered list.
Yeah.
I mean, not him alone, but he worked really hard. He said it wasn't just a matter of making sure that the species reproduced. It was teaching the locals not to kill the bats and wreck the bat houses because they're needed. And if we don't have them, they're not fertilizing the different cactus and agaves and stuff like that. So that part was quite interesting. So he not only was able to find certain caves that the bats were nestled in or housed in, whatever. And then was able to get them protected. But he also taught the people in the neighborhood or in the areas that these are good. They are helpful to you. Even the vampire bats. Vampire bats are icky.
They are.
The tequila bats I get.
Well, the tequila bats also are responsible for corn growing. So people are like, well, he'd go up to these people like, what do you think of bats? And she's like, I hate them.
She's selling corn.
And he's like, well, let me explain to you why they're beneficial for you. Then at the end of it, he says, so what do you think of bats? And she says, I think they're good now.
And Rosemary.
And that's what he does.
Oh, just wait. Have one that lives at Casa Rosita nearly killed Cleo one night. Sammy goes ballistic when he smells them. Yeah, that's from Rosemary. And she said, it's so glad to see that we appear well recovered. We are definitely well on our way.
I'm pretty close. I'm like almost 100%.
You've had some dizzy spells over the last couple of days.
That's true. But it doesn't affect me like it affects you. I mean, you're still tired all the time.
I'm very delicate. Look at me. I will say, though, since all of the COVID and stuff started, I've lost now just over 40 pounds. Yeah. Very proud of myself. I mean, some of it was because I couldn't eat because of COVID.
I wouldn't recommend getting COVID as a weight loss program.
So, up here. I donate to many bat rescues around the world, and I want my own flying fox as a pet.
That's
Did he have a sidekick named Robin or a butler?
Yeah, he's the Batman of Mexico. His English is perfection.
Yeah, his English is very good.
And his Spanish, obviously, is Mexican.
At one point, he's like, yeah, and all of this, and he's touching the bottom of the cave, and he's like, this is bat guano. I could just lay here. Guano. I could just lay here and have a really nice nap. And I'm like, oh, bat guano, it smells so bad.
Yeah. He was a very interesting fellow. Yeah. And he would just take the bats, capture them, and he'd pet them. And I mean, like, these are wild bats.
So Angela said that she did not know that Mexico had owls. Oh, yeah, there's lots of owls.
Yeah, we've seen owls. We saw owls at the house where we live near the water. There's this little white one that would sit at the end of on the fence. And it was just like weird.
Glenda said that the water rat may be a nutria. She goes, ugly. And then Glenda says, wow, 40 pounds. I could definitely lose 20 or 30, but sure don't want to get sick. Good for you, Christy. Losing weight feels so good. I know it helped us both with the losing weight just to get us a little bit healthier because we ended up getting COVID. I still probably easly have another 30 pounds probably that I could lose and still be, because I'm big. I mean, I'm almost 6 feet tall. I have big hands. I have, broad shoulders. So I'm a big woman. I carry my weight fairly well. But
you're a violent woman.
I'm a violent woman?
Yeah. You hit me all the time.
Flinches.
I'm afraid of her.
What a baby. What a baby. All right. Well, people, we do have an appointment in half an hour. So we're going to hit the road. Thanks for joining us. And we will see ya all tomorrow, because today is Thursday.
It is Thursday.
Okay. Bye.